Good morning. Good morning, loves. It's my favorite love song. I heard it all night long. Good morning. Good morning. Yes. I know. We were supposed to have a session today. I'm quite aware. This is a very, very busy week for me. It's a very busy week leading up to a very busy weekend. As all of you well know, it's Memorial Day weekend coming. As most of you who have been following this podcast also know, at the end of the month, I normally have 4 gigs that I'm wrestling. In addition to the 4th gig, I got a final confirmation that I was being added to the DJ lineup for the Chicago House Festival, which is on Saturday. I will be at Renaissance tomorrow for the after work set with Vic Lavender and his ensemble performing live. Unfortunately, I don't have another day for a studio session, so I have to take the studio session today. And that's the reason why I'm not at my desk and you are not hearing tunes from me. I appreciate those of you who will find this podcasting, as my goal is always to share some energy and encouragement with you through music or through the sound of my voice. I would like to share a bit of information with you as I am driving to the studio at this point. If you're interested, you will find this podcast when you do. You have to be, because soul, disco, funk, R&B, jazz, and most certainly classic and current house, which are derivatives of all of these genres, are incredibly near and dear to my heart. It's part of the reason why these podcasts exist for Morning Love. Because I want to make sure to extend myself differently, to add whatever I can add to the narrative of my music, which is Chicago music, which spawns from these places. My apologies, I forgot to add gospel. Gospel is a very important asset to our music, as well as blues. Thank you. And that's what makes these sessions that we have important. I know that I have had a format for several years that has garnered the interest of particular people to do the work that I do as a DJ. I've added the addition of being more focused about producing music, which has added a little more interest. There's a lot more that needs to be done. I have my live conversations via FB. I had one of those conversations yesterday. And during that conversation, I realized, and I have to share this particular piece with those of you who will find this podcast, who are DJs, who are producers, who are music lovers and enthusiasts, who are people who are interested in preservation of not only music in general, but specifically the history of black music and the history of Chicago music. I have to share these things with you. So I realized that my live sessions this way, as well as my live sessions via Facebook particularly, have people watching but not interacting or not in the room with us. I have to mention this particularly to you because I want you to be as wise about what you say in your social media via text, as well as what you say and do in that world, who you interact with in these worlds, whose ideologies you subscribe to in these worlds, electronically first, but whose ideologies you subscribe to in these worlds that could help or potentially hinder your possibilities. I will not give you the finer details of a post that I saw that created what I will say is a concrete no for particular DJs. And when I say concrete no, there are opportunities that will come about based on the idea that we are all looking for opportunities to be associated with historic festivals and functions that we may or may not be able to acquire based on co-signing people who are ego-driven and upset about the fact that they aren't being booked. You have to be concerned, unfortunately, about how much energy you put into people who quickly throw caution to the wind and throw everyone under the bus by stating things that they feel emotionally that could damper the possibilities of a group of people. That was her. That wasn't me. A group of people. There are people who will say that they want you to prosper. There are people who say that they want you to get further, who will say anything to have you pay attention to them, but will not take the time and energy to help you. This is what some of us are dealing with in social media. So you can ride on the concept of what somebody says because you find it entertaining and find yourself potentially locked out of opportunities for subscribing or looking as if you subscribe to their ideologies. You got to be careful. I was blessed yesterday. I woke up yesterday and I asked the universe because I was conflicted. I got a call, I got an inbox message from one of the organizers for the Chicago House Festival. And he asked me, was I available? And he mentioned a few other things. And he said that he would interact with me via email to confirm everything. Well, I didn't hear from him. So I was under the assumption that it wasn't going to happen. And of course, in my mind, I was like, somebody may have thrown some dirt on you when your name came up at the table, or, all of the negative, unfortunate, dark spaces that we sometimes occupy when we're unsure or unconfident with ourselves. So, excuse me, to make a long story short, because I got time, I'm driving to Riverdale, but I just assumed that it wasn't going to happen. And I made peace with myself about it because I was just like, you're doing the work that you are supposed to do. It may take them a little longer to recognize that there are other people who are, not the normal go-to folks for these types of events. But you just keep doing what you're doing. Keep finding things to innovate what you do. Keep pushing your machine. Don't get discouraged because it looks like you're not being seen and I don't need to be seen. Like, I keep saying this because it's true. I don't care what you think of me personally. I'm more concerned about what adds to the body of the work for my art. And DJing and producing are two of my arts. So I couldn't feel anything more about it. I was just like, it's not your time. Get back to work. You got work to do. Don't get caught up in the idea that you... Bye. Don't get caught up in the idea that you will never be acknowledged for your work. Continue to do your work and allow whatever manifests from it to happen. So that's exactly what I started doing. And then all of a sudden I just popped on Facebook and realized that my name was on the roster and it became official. And then I go to my community, and my community is creating fires because certain people weren't added, because any excuse that they could find to create negative energy around the concept of this event. My community of house people, of music people, have been tearing it apart. I've learned too much not to share with you. And that's the reason why I'm bringing this to you. Hopefully you can hear me, Lord. I've learned too much not to share this information with you. I've learned too much not to act differently about the things that I've learned that I'm sharing with you. We have people who we really want to like, whose work, including my work, I'm no different than these people. Sometimes you have to pull back and you have to really think about what people say and do to, not to you, what people say and do in general that you cannot subscribe to. You really have to sit and think. Don't be too quick to jump on anybody's bandwagon when they're spewing hatred and ills. If it does not resonate for you in a place of spirit, then maybe those things are not for you to co-sign. And when I say co-sign or subscribe, I'm speaking to liking people's posts or interacting on those posts. You have to take yourself away from these spaces. And sometimes you have to sit with that information so that you can come to the conclusion that best serves you. One of my favorite Chicago musicians, not just one, I'm not going to say that, I'm not, because after my session yesterday on Facebook Live, I realized that people, and I have to say this the way that I feel it in my heart and in my spirit, the devil has a way of working through people. At least two of my favorite producers and DJs from Chicago had some very negative things to say in association with this event. And because they are who they are, it would be very easy for me and a bunch of other people to jump on the bandwagon with them and yeah. Regardless to how much truth could be in the hatred that they spew. There could be truth in that hatred. But you don't want to ruin your individual possibilities by overly subscribing to things that are intentionally hateful. Intentionally hateful. Specifically and only because these particular individuals were not included in this event. It's selfish. It's selfish for me to say, because I was not included, that everybody shouldn't be involved, especially because this is an event that helps to bring energy to all of us based on what we do. If you are a DJ or a producer or a promoter or a music enthusiast, if you got a cousin that does these things, the idea that a city could create an event for free. Now, it's not really free because they took our tax dollars to make this thing happen. But if the city decides to give you a platform to expose people in droves to what you do, and you didn't have to pay anything more to be involved, I think it's an opportunity, regardless to whether you're on the DJ booth, whether you own the DJ, in the DJ booth, on the stand, on the stage, or not. It's an opportunity potentially for somebody to reference your work in any capacity. If you're in the park, if you're on the stage, if you're passing out flyers, if you're passing out business cards, CDs, thumb drives, yada, yada, yada. If you're doing any of that, you have an opportunity to possibly be exposed. If the event makes the news and somebody goes, such and such plays house music, I need to reference them, you could potentially win from it. So I don't think it's a good idea to use social media to create hate campaigns for something that could potentially create opportunities for you. Now this could come off a little interesting because of the fact that you got a bunch of people, I've said some things. I say things from my heart, and I swear I try not to come from a hate-based place when I say it. And I hope those of you who support me understand that it's not from a hate-based place. But if you listen and you can find the truth in it, it doesn't mean that you have to interact with me on it. If you think that you'll be protected and that you could be ruining things, don't say anything. Just let what is said to you resonate so that you don't get hurt or caught up in the crossfire of these sentiments. But what I witnessed in my inbox based on my interaction with one of the programmers for the event and who I will call a consultant was that they are seeing who's moving in a positive direction and who's creating problems. And based on the fact that they saw a problem, those problems were omitted from this particular festival. And who is Simon Barber? I'm not sure who Simon Barber is. It's time for you to apply to WBRFM.com. Hi, Simon Barber. I'm Fathom DJ. I'm live from my car because I normally do a show called Morning Love every Thursday starting at 9 a.m. And unfortunately, I'm on my way to a studio session and I can't do my actual show with music and such, but I wanted to share some of the information that I've learned from my experience in the past week with my listening audience. So if they reference this podcast now or later, they will see that. And so this is why you're getting my information. Thank you for tuning in with me. But what I was saying was there are people watching. There's a reason why certain people are being included in these events and certain people aren't. I want to encourage you to put your best foot forward. I want to encourage you to make sure that you're putting enough of your content that is in line with the things that you do on your social media pages. People who are looking to give you opportunities don't want to see so much of your personal business, so much of your personal opinions, so much of your emotional spaces that you don't get an opportunity that you could potentially get. Terrence, you know my heart. Don't come in here with that music shit today. Music is very important. I'm not at home. I'm on my way to the studio. I have an incredibly long weekend, as you well know, coming forth. I'm trying to enlighten you. It's some information that might be helpful to you if you didn't hear it yesterday. If you heard it yesterday, you most certainly don't have to listen to this cast today. There's no music coming during this session because I am literally sitting outside of the studio. What I want to say to you is be careful who you associate with. Be careful what information you put in your social media. Because the opportunities that you might be interested in garnering, you may not get if you bandwagon hatred and negative energy. And on that note, I'm sending you cosmic kisses to your day. I'm very thankful to, and I'm not going to tell you who I'm thankful to because I'm surprised. I'm thankful to this particular person who I had an inbox session with yesterday after my session. I'm thankful that I'm being seen in a different light. I've worked very hard to make sure that people understand what I care about as it pertains to this particular music, as it pertains to my brand and my business, and as it pertains to our community. Being acknowledged privately is the reason why I'm bringing you this cast. You just need to be careful. You need to make sure that you're putting the things that you want people to know of you. If you're really, really a fucking DJ, if you're really, really a producer, if you're really, really about this music, then you're going to show more of your music than anything else. Don't get caught up in the bullshit because people are looking. If I have opportunities and I see you on Facebook talking more about your baby's shoes than you are talking about this music and your passion for this music, then people will most certainly...
Excuse me, dear. Go ahead.
Give me 1 second. People will most certainly determine that you are not serious. The last thing you want to do is have people determine that you are not serious when it's time for them to book you and possibly consider you for opportunities. And I gotta go because my session is about to start. I'm sending you cosmic kisses and well wishes. I'm asking you with every fiber of my being, if you're serious about this music, if you're serious about getting opportunities for this music, you're going to have to start being consistent about showing yourself differently. So when these people come, they don't see you associating, regardless of how much you love the people that produce these tunes and DJ all over the world. If they're saying things that are venomous to our community, I hope that you take a moment to think about it and get back to the work of creation. Get back to the work of creation right now. Cosmic kisses. I will have tons to tell you about next Thursday when we have our session. I'm sure, based on the fact that I got 5 things to do this weekend, and all of them, most of them are surrounding this dance music and this house music. I'm spiritually aligned. I'm in tune. I'm blessed and I'm ready. And I appreciate you supporting me in this way. Thank you very much. Fathom DJ live and direct via Spreaker every Thursday, 9 a.m. Hashtag Find and Fathom DJ in your World Wide Webosphere. Hashtag Fathom DJ. FindandFathomDJ.com. Thank you.